Peace and love, everybody. It's your brother JudahSon with Put It Out There TV. This will be the first official Put It Out There TV news segment. We do have a news segment, and I guess if I got to brand this on my own, that's what we're going to be doing. So as you can see here, we are looking at a brother Moor here, a Moorish American, and you can see here, what does it say? Man says he was forced to check a box identifying his race, sues UPS for $600,000. Now, it would not take a rocket scientist, as I said before, it shouldn't take a rocket scientist to see that this right here is a Moor. And if you've done a little bit of studying, it shouldn't take any rocket science for you to know what they wanted him to declare his race as. But let's go ahead and see. So this was published on or updated on January 30th, 2018, posted on January 30th, 2019. I apologize. On the Oregon Live, the Oregonian. All right, want to make sure we give all props to that. So here, this brother's name is Kaon-Jabbar East L. Claims that the UPS discriminated against him for complaining about a requirement that he select an ethnicity or race on an employment application. Now, before we go on, we do know that filling out, anybody who's had a job, I've had a job, don't get it twisted, even though I don't have a job now, I've had a job, and we all know, anybody who's had a job, or you should know if you've had a job, that is totally voluntary. And it specifically goes on further to say that the job will make a determination based off of observation. So in all reality, they didn't have to force him. UPS did not have to force this brother to choose a so-called race. And we'll say why it's a so-called race. Because a lot of people think black, white, Native American, Asian, or whatever the case, they think that these are racial classifications, and they're not. And this brother is aware of that, was aware of that at the time, and is aware of that now. Okay, so here, let's go on now. It says Portland. So this is a UPS in Portland, Oregon. Portland territory, right? Now this is by Amy Green. It says a Portland man is suing United Parcel Service for $600,000, claiming the package delivery company forced him to check a box designating his race on his employment application and then retaliated when he complained about it. Now, again, I said it's common sense. What is it that what is it that he had to complain about? Just think about that. It says, Kaon-Jabbar East L claims in his lawsuit that being required to identify himself as a certain race or ethnicity violated his religious beliefs of Islamism. UPS's Human Resources Department told him he couldn't go back to employee orientation before selecting a box, according to the suit filed Tuesday in Multnomah County Circuit Court. Now, he's being required to identify himself as a certain race. You have to pay attention because these people write in such a tricky fashion, you will overlook the important detail. They were asking him to click to identify himself as a specific race. Give me a second. Let me go to the dictionary real fast. And let me look up the word certain. And let me see what I can find. Because I want to... Certain to me is a specific thing. That's a specific thing. Okay. Fixed, settled, certain of a specific but unspecified character, quantity, or degree. Reliable, inevitable, destined, incapable of failing. Use what they following. So as a certainty, assuredly. So they wanted him to assuredly pick. They wanted him to assuredly pick. They wanted him to pick a specific race. Okay. They wanted him to be specific. Let me go to something else here. Let's see what they're saying in etymology. Okay. Adjective. determined, fixed, from Old French certain, reliable, sure, assured, from Vulgar Latin, certanus, extended form of Latin certus, determined, resolved, fixed, settled, of things whose qualities are invariable, established, settled, fixed, also placed beyond doubt, sure, true, proved, established, unerring, fixed to be depended upon. Now, I don't even have to go any further. See, UPS, I don't even, and I am going to go on further, but UPS, what they were doing was they had their mind made up that this Moorish American, all right, a brother who has a nationality, a noble history, a title, they were saying that he is for certain, for sure, that he's a black man. Let's stop playing. Now, look. It says, the lawsuit also says East L believed that none of the options on the form accurately reflected his ethnicity, and the job application didn't include an other box. East L's national origin is Moorish, from the people who inhabited North and Northwest Africa, according to his suit. So this is the thing. The issue is, now let's go on, hold on, let's go on further. It says the suit says East L ended up selecting white, which under a federal directive is defined as people with origins from Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. Okay, let's stop it there. This brother, Kaon-Jabbar East L, Islam to you, brother, shalom to you, hotep, peace and love, all five of the highest principles known to man to you. He knew what he was doing. He was doing right by himself. Okay? He was doing right by himself. Because this is the thing. See, a lot of people, you know, they say, all right, well, so-called African Americans, they say, all right, well, you guys are from Africa. And you guys were placed into slavery via West Africa, right? But the thing is, just because you get somebody from a certain portion of a land, that does not mean that's where they're from. Who's to say that these people in West Africa weren't the Moors pushed out of North Africa down into West Africa? Things of this nature. You see what I mean? So just because you are allegedly a descendant of people who are forced into servitude and brought over here on slave ships that we can't even get any history of them, any real, you know what I mean? Anyway, it does not necessarily mean that you're not a Moor. It does not mean that you did not come from a different part of Africa. It's as simple as that. So the brother chose white. So I know a lot of you looking at him, you're going to say, white. White. Yes, white. All right. You have people from Africa who are darker than a lot of the so-called, well, you find them being very, very, very dark, darker than the average dark-skinned so-called African American. And due to the fact of where they are from, when they get their citizenship, when they're naturalized in the so-called U.S. they are categorized as white, which further means that white has nothing to do, or black has nothing to do with skin tone whatsoever. So let me go back up here. Okay, so it says again, the suit says East L ended up selecting white, which under a federal directive is defined as people with origins from Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. But it's more specific than that, so we're going to go to that. What you see here, it says L's national origin is Moorish. It says it's not assumed. Listen, guys, it does not say L's Moorish or L's national origin is black or African American. It says from the people who inhabited North and Northwest Africa, according to his suit. That I have to say, UPS is going to lose this suit. They're going to have to pay this brother this $600,000. And Brother Kaon-Jabbar East L, may the Most High be with you. Period. Do not settle out. Push it to the limit. Rick Ross them. You hear me? Okay, so let's move on, because we mentioned before, guys, we mentioned the federal directive, right? It says here, the suit says East L ended up selecting white, which under a federal directive is defined as people with origins from Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. Now, how do we know that that's true? We know that's true because we are going to go over to Federal Directive 15. And you will be able to find this particular link in the description of this video. And as well, you will be able to find the link to the article dealing with Brother East L. You'll be able to find the link to that. So this is Office of Management and Budget, OMB, Directive 15, Race and Ethnic Standards for Federal Statistics and Administrative Reporting. All right, so Race and Ethnic Standards for Federal Statistics and Administrative Reporting. Now, this was adopted on May 12th, 1977. So let's read and start this off, because I think a lot of people who think that these particular brand names or whatever the case, they think that they are identities, and they're not, right? So it says this directive provides standard classifications for recording, collection, and presentation of data on race and ethnicity in federal program, administrative reporting, and statistical activities. These classifications should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature, nor should they be viewed as determinants of eligibility for participation in any federal program. They have been developed in response to needs expressed by both the executive branch and the Congress to provide for the collection and use of compatible, non-duplicated, exchangeable racial and ethnic data by federal agencies. So we can see here, these classifications should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature. So these are not based on fact. This is basically what they're telling you. So this whole I'm black and the white man and white supremacy and the black people and the light skin, it has nothing to do at all with it being based on fact. That is not truly your identity. So let's go on and read some of these. Let's start off. Okay, let's start off with here. Let's just start off with white. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. Now, Middle East is a fraud. There's no such thing as the Middle East. They created that. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. All Africa, pretty much. Anyway, it's a whole nother story. But as we can see here, you see how many different people fall up under this? A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe. You see how it says original peoples of Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East? All right. So, and he goes on here and he says what? They says that he's Moorish, from the people who inhabited North and Northwest Africa, according to this suit, to his suit. So if this is the case, that means that truthfully, he would be white. How do we know that? How do we know that? Let's look up a man by the name of Mustafa Hefni. You know, because so-called black people, they always assume, well, if you're from Africa, you're black. That's what they say. If you're from Africa, you're black. Okay, so let's look at this here. Let's see if we can find something. Ooh, here we go. This looks good. This looks like this will be a good one. See, this brother, who was also a Moor, as well as Brother East L, right? His argument is totally different. His argument is totally different. And we'll go back to the other brother's story. It says, what if you identified as one race, but because of geographical differences, you were told you were another race, even if your skin tone said otherwise? Is it right to determine race by skin tone alone? Does race itself even exist? Now, let's go down to where we can find this here. You have Mustafa Hefni, who was an Egyptian immigrant. Here's the brother right here. We've seen plenty of brothers that look like him here in the Americas. You plenty that have not that's not never been to Africa, wasn't born in Africa. You see, and our people, so-called black people, would call him a black man. That's what they would say. So it says an Egyptian immigrant, Mustafa Hefni, who came to the United States and was told he was white, despite his skin color. To understand this, let us first establish the U.S. racial classification system. The U.S. Census Bureau defines race as a social category recognized by the United States and does not attempt to define race biologically, anthropologically, or genetically. Wow, look at that. So you, our people, so-called black people that's out there, those who call themselves black, right? You think that this deals with you biologically, anthropologically, genetically, when it does not. It is not simply, it is simply not based on fact. It's just as simple as that. It is simply not based on fact. Period. So I'm glad y'all saw this. So again, introducing Mustafa Hefni, an Egyptian immigrant who came to the United States and was told he was white despite his skin color. And that is because racial classification is really a social category recognized by the United States and does not attempt to define race by. This is what our people need to understand. But they don't. And they fight 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 and they fight. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. It says here, since 1997, Mustafa, this seems to be an Israelites website, and I do not want to, mince this up with anything dealing with dogma or religion. So we want to skip those parts. It says, since 1997, Mustafa Hefni has been suing the U.S. government because when Hefni immigrated to America, the U.S. government told him he was no longer a black man. This is because according to the U.S. racial system of classification, we're not supposed to realize that Egypt is in Africa, just that it is in the Middle East. And see, this is why, and this is probably why I shouldn't even came to this particular article, because this is from somebody who thinks that they're black and they do not comprehend that just like the government is telling you, it's a social political construct. It has nothing to do with biological identity whatsoever. It is a status at law. And this is what Moors have been trying to tell people. And this is why I say my fellow Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters need to get their act together and stop kicking dogma and stop identifying themselves with these slave identities, yet you say that you are a part of a nation. So we're going to skip this. Either way it goes, Mustafa Hefni, this brother here, all right, has origins in the original people of North Africa. He had to be determined as white as a political, social political status. It has nothing to do with skin tone whatsoever. Even the so-called average white person, so-called white person, would call him black. So this is just due to a lack of comprehension of civics. Period. All right. So let's go on back to his stories. So basically, we got two brothers who have arguments of the separate ends of the spectrum. One is being him true self, and one came over as his true self and is trying to take on a slave identity. And if you look into Mustafa Hefni, you go on to see that they end up telling him this, that you are trying to take on a slave identity. You have a history. These people do not. All right. So the thing is why brother East L has to sue UPS, and why we no longer need to support UPS is because they are practicing denationalization. They're trying to denationalize the brother East L, and they wanted him to classify himself as a Negro, a black, and a colored. 3/5 of a man. That's what they wanted him to do. That's exactly what they want him to do. And see, what people need to comprehend, even if you want to go along with the narrative that so-called black men and women, so-called African Americans, come from Africa, what you have to understand is that there are 54 different countries in Africa, They have different languages. They have different cultures. They have different religions. They have free national names. They have law. They have flags. They have constitutions. So even if you go along with the narrative that you were brought over here on a slave ship from Africa, right? That means that before these people categorized you commercially as Negro, Black, colored, and African American, you were called something else. Tutsi, I don't know, Fulani, Ashanti, you know, the Kente clan, whatever the case may be, you had a true free national name, and it was not Black, which is a Germanic Anglo-Saxon word, brothers and sisters, that translates to black. I mean, yeah, to pale. I'm sorry. Translates to pale. P-A-E-L. Okay. Has nothing to do with you whatsoever at all. You must have your proper legal status. And that's all this brother was establishing with them, what his social political status was. And they had an issue with that because he's supposed to be a good step and fetching Negro. Let's go on. It says, the suit says Eastdale ended up selecting white, which we already went over, which under federal directive is defined as people with origins from Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. So we've already got that established why the brother chose what he chose, right? All right. It says UPS declined to comment on the suit, citing the pending litigation, but said its workplace is free from all forms of discrimination. No, we have found that to be a lie. UPS, you are liars. You are lying. You are lying. And due to this is what I want to say before I go on and finish this, because this little lie that they have here. What we have to understand is if they do this to Brother East L, then they have injured all of us. If they've injured East L, they've injured all of us. This is what we need to comprehend as Moors. They've injured all of us. So, with that being the case, even though you may not be in Portland, Oregon, where Brother East L is at, you might be in Ohio, you might be in California, you might be in New Jersey, you might be in New York, you might be in New Mexico. But I say that they've injured us all, and I say that we are not to do any business with UPS whatsoever until this issue is properly resolved, because they do practice discrimination. They wanted this brother to brand himself with death, 3/5 of a man, with slavery. Is what they wanted him to do. And you cannot have a noble title as L and be branded as Negro, Black, color. That is so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. And what makes it even bad, you know what? This same thing has happened to me before. I've experienced this same type of discrimination before. Yes, your brother, JudahSon, Allah has experienced the same exact discrimination. I remember one time my father, I can say this now, he retired from Rigid Tool. You probably see a lot of their stuff in Home Depot. You may see it in Lowe's. Rigid Tool. R as in run, I as in Indian, D as in dog, I think, G as in girl, I as in Indian, D as in dog, Tool, T-O-O-L, or it might be R-I-G-I-D, T-O-O-L. But so I fill out an application, use my name, JudahSon, right? Resume turned in and everything. And I get an interview just off the bat that my father has been there for over 30 something years. So I get an interview, fill out the application, all that stuff. Get there, advise them that I put on there, I marked that I'm white, and I never heard nothing back from them whatsoever at all. I marked down the same thing that he did. And do you know how much ridicule that I got from my mother from actually writing that down on there and trying to be myself? You see, and this is why I say Moors have no business even going to work for these people in the first place. If you're a Moor, that says that you're a master. That means that you need to truly be a master of yourself and not have to go beg this man for a job. Period. And they say they don't practice discrimination. Yes, the hell you do, UPS. You practice discrimination. Very much so. It says UPS's policies, procedures, and training. This is what they said. This is what Let me see. UPS declined to comment on suit, citing the pending litigations, but said its workplace is free from all forms of discrimination. So this is what UPS says. UPS's policies, procedures, and training are designed to create a workplace where our employees feel respected and appreciated and empowered to report offensive conduct so it can be corrected, wrote spokesman Matthew O'Connor, good Irish feller, in an email. We are proud of our inclusive workforce and company's record of promoting qualified employees with diverse backgrounds. Come on, O'Connor. Don't pull that bullshit, Matthew O'Connor. Come on now. Don't play. You know what your people went through, Matthew. Don't play. What, have you pulled yourselves up by the bootstrap? Is that what you're saying now, O'Connor? Come on, stop playing. And this is the thing, because if what this statement that has been made by Matthew O'Connor says is true, if this is true, right, and the history that he has as an Irish American, right, then there shouldn't be no issue to what's going on. He should already know what's going on. He should be assisting that brother. And he has a duty to do that because it is a human rights, and all these corporations are subject to honor the human rights of all humans. Free national beings, should I say. I'm sorry. Free national beings. Goes on further to say, East L suit says he was hired in November 2016 as an on-call truck helper. He repeatedly complained to executives and human resources about the racial identifier requirement, but his concerns were ignored, he contends. The suits claim that over the next 2.5 months, the company retaliated against him by offering him only one job assignment, and that was after he notified the company that he would be unavailable for several days while on bereavement leave to attend an out-of-state funeral. Due to the alleged discrimination and lack of work, East L resigned in February 2017, the suit states. Portland attorney Allen, see, just like they have a problem pronouncing our name, I don't know this neither. Nixapora, I don't feel bad. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Is representing East L. Portland attorney Al. Oh, wow. 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 Oh, East L. Boy, let me tell you. This brother went and got a European lawyer to represent himself in the civil case. To represent him in the civil case. I don't know nothing about this attorney here. Nixapora. Nix Iporuk. Either they down for Moors and they know who the Moors are, and they feel like this brother has a right to identify himself as he sees fit, right to association, First Amendment right, right? Then I give Neek Support Allen some respect. But there's only two things that can be. Either he knows who the Moors are, and he knows that this brother has an identify to associate based off the First Amendment how he sees fit, or he's just in it for the money, and he know that this brother ain't got a winning chance. But brother East L, I say this with all love and due respect, brother. You are not supposed to have a European lawyer representing you. You are supposed to be presenting yourself in propria persona. In propria persona. In your proper person. So in all reality, this whole video, this argument, your argument is mute. It's moot. It's moot. Because you were arguing that you were trying to be yourself. And now you are not even here to present yourself. You're representing. You can being represented. But at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying. You Moors out there, first of all, you need to study. All right? Y'all need to study. And while you're going through your process, if you have a 9-to-5, keep your 9-to-5. While you're going through your process and you need a job and you need to make ends meet, get you a 9-to-5. Unfortunately, especially if you have to use the slave name. But I tell you what, while you're going through your process and you're going through your studying, you make sure that while you study in the UCC and the trust and how to travel without license and taxes off at Family Dollar and all of that, make sure you also study how to start a business very cheaply, online business, okay? How to start some type of business, because it is ridiculous that Moors even put themselves through this, saying that they're not allowing me to be myself, and then all of a sudden you get a European lawyer of the pale-skinned nations. This has nothing to do with racism. It's just that he's in violation of the Zodiac Constitution already. Period. I don't know, maybe I'm off. Maybe it's me. But you Moors, before you get out here swinging your Moorish sword, you need to make sure that you have yourself established with a business. And stop trying to think so far out the box that you complicate simple things. You're good at something. Somebody will pay for it. Okay? Figure out what it is and stop begging these people for jobs. Stop doing this stuff here. This is crazy. Go ahead and get out of here. Peace and love. It's your brother JudahSon. Put it out there TV. PIOT TV. Hashtag put it out there TV. Hashtag PIOT TV. Appreciate you allowing me to take up so much of your very valuable time. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe at the official Put It Out There TV channel. I don't know wherever you may be viewing this at. And if you're viewing it on the Put It Out There TV channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And you know what I mean. Go over there to the JudahSon PIOT TV channel and go ahead and subscribe over there too. Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. It's your brother JudahSon. Peace and love. Y'all have yourselves a great evening. One.